It's like it's like when you're protecting your kids. Yeah, it's like when you're protecting your kids. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've had to protect your kids, had to hold it down for them, had to make sure that the threat that was trying to go up against them or trying to harm them was eliminated, even though that threat could have eliminated you too, but you was going to make sure that you stood up and protected yours. Let's get into it. Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this your daily. Go get him number 1K50 for August 14th, 2017. Yeah. You know, I don't know if y'all have ever been in a situation where you've had to protect your children, protect your kids. I don't really like the word kids. You know, that means goats. And we need to stop referring to our young, our offspring, as baby goats. They're children. That's what they are. They're young people, young men and women, little kings and queens, princes and princesses. But anyway. But yeah. You know, it's a funny thing when you are protecting your children, because you will probably go to the ends of the earth to make sure that they're okay. You may have never been in a fight in your life. There are some people who have gotten all the way into their 30s, 40s, 50 years old and have never had a fist fight in their whole entire lives. It's crazy, but it's true. And so my assumption is that those people can't fight. If you've never ever been in a fight and then you're going to fight with somebody who is experienced in fighting, I'm thinking that the likelihood that you're going to win that fight is probably very, very low, because you don't know what to do in hand-to-hand combat. But it doesn't really matter when somebody is messing around with your children. You will compensate for your lack of knowing how to fight and will fight to the death to make sure that they live. It's true. So you take that into other areas of your life, and it's really compelling the way that even though we know that we could get hurt, we may be hurt, you may protect somebody else from being hurt because you figure that the hurt that they will endure, they may not heal from it mentally and emotionally as well as you can. So it's like you're basically taking the weight of the world off of them and protecting them, even though you may be more afraid of the threat than they are. But you figure that you could get over it. You figure that you can get past it. Like, even if you get your head beaten, you're like, well, I've got my head beaten before, so I know how to recover from getting my head beaten. If this person over here, if my friend over here, if my brother over here, if my sister over here, if my cousin over here, if they get their heads beaten, I don't think that they will ever really recover from the humiliation or whatever. So it's time for me to step in and get my head beat in, potentially. More than likely you're going to wind up winning because you were willing to get into the fight in the first place. So you're probably going to protect yourself to the fullest because you're protecting two people at one time. So have you ever done it? Have you ever been in that position where you had to protect something like they were your kids, like they were your offspring? Have you ever had to protect your children? You know, some of us keep our children on a short leash. On a short leash. Make sure that they don't get too far. Make sure that they're not always out of eyesight. Make sure that they are only in the company of people that you know, trust, and can verify. We damn near taking out, doing background checks on people, making sure that we're checking them and making sure that they're 100%, because we want to make sure that our people are right. So what makes us do it though? What makes us choose ourselves over somebody else? What makes the strong take up for the weak? What makes it happen? Because something makes it happen, and we do it. Like we was protecting our kids. We're gonna get into it. It could be a coworker. I'm going to tell y'all a story. A quick story, then we're going to get on out of here. Listen, one time, I witnessed a house that had a bird's nest inside the roof. There was like a hole in the roof, and the birds found their way in, and they were living inside somebody's roof. And the person had a contractor come and patch, and, close the hole up in the roof, and he sealed some of the baby birds inside of the house, while I guess mama and daddy bird and the uncle and aunt birds or whatever extended family birds were out of the roof. So he closed those. I guess he couldn't reach those baby birds, or didn't try, and the big birds knew that those baby birds were trapped inside of that roof, and they were going crazy. It was like something from an Alfred Hitchcock movie. They were and these were like pigeons or something like that, but they were trying to peck at the contractors and everything. And this was right in the hood. I mean, deep in the hood too. And people started feeling some kind of way about it, because I guess it pulled at their heartstrings about how they would conduct themselves if they knew that their children were stuck inside of somewhere and couldn't get out, and they were going to die while you watched, or while they watched, and they wasn't having it. So the people in the neighborhood started saying, "Listen, you got to open up that roof and let those birds get their birds out." Sort of like if the way that you would conduct yourself if your children were in a burning building. Like, you're gonna go inside that building and save your children. You don't care if you get burned, but you're gonna make sure that they get taken care of. And that's what it was like for those birds. And people made those contractors open up that roof and get those birds out, because the birds were like crying. It was a crazy scene. It really was. The birds were circling and They wanted to make sure that they protected their children against all odds. They didn't care if they had to die. They didn't care if you swatted them away or hit them or whatever. They didn't care if you harmed them. They were going to make sure that they got their babies up out of there. And it's a lesson that we take from those birds and incorporate it into our own lives. Well, we were doing it anyway, but you know what I mean. It could be a co-worker. It could be a friend. You ever take up for a friend against their own parents? You knew that their parents were going to really, really get them in a lot of trouble. Maybe invoke some corporal punishment that was probably more like abuse. So you took the rap for something that your friend did. Because, you figured, well, look, I can take it. Ain't no big deal. Even if it got you on punishment, you took the rap. We ain't talking about no gangster shit, no jail shit. We talking about when you are more afraid of the threat than the person that you're protecting, but you protect that person anyway. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, listen. When it's on, it's on. If you're going to make sure that your loved ones are protected, there isn't anything probably that can get in the way of that. So you're going to represent it. So represent it to the fullest and do your thing. The Daily Go Getimism show is every single day, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in number 319-527. Did I say 6 a.m.? 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in number 319-527-6199. blogtalkradio.com/son752. Peace. Breeze. Yeah.